this is a literal money glitch once you really understand it. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be fast, but submit to time, put your head down, and just see where it takes you. Have a long-term point of view with this. I see myself in 10 years as being exactly where I want to be in life because I stuck through all the ups and downs of trading. All right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lewis, and if this is the first time that you're tuning into my YouTube channel, thank you for giving me your time. I appreciate it as always. I am just a trader who is documenting his trading journey. First and foremost, thank you so much for 900 followers on Instagram. We're gonna be at 1,000 very soon, and I'm extremely grateful for every one of you who has enjoyed this type of content that I've been making, because I had about 400 followers on Instagram before I started posting about trading. The amount of support that I've been getting is ridiculous. So thank you so much for that, and thank you for 660 subscribers on YouTube. It means the world to me that people are enjoying my content. Honestly, we're just gonna see where it goes. This is only the beginning of the legacy. Like I said, I am not just a trader. I am not just somebody who's good at making videos or that enjoys making videos. Even though I do, there's a lot more things to me than trading and making videos in terms of just content, which I want to bring into the channel a bit more as I progress and I keep evolving. But as of right now, I'm going to focus on what is working, and that is trading videos and these videos that I'm doing right now. I had a very decent week. I went 2 for 2. I won 2 of my trades and lost 2. The trade on Tuesday was a very good trade, which was probably the best trade of the week. It was the best trade of the week. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I'll explain exactly what ended up happening. But I'm learning so much, man. I'm telling you, these losses are nothing. I have a couple things in the works with, actually, I'm not even gonna say too much, but I have a couple things that are gonna come into the channel very soon. I don't know yet, but there could be a funded account challenge that I go for. I'm still gonna be doing this series, but there's also something else that I am working on right now, which will be very beneficial to my progress as a trader. It does involve futures. Like I said, I've been talking about switching over to futures for a while now, but we'll see how it ends up going. But yeah, let's just get into this trading week. I'll see you in the charts. If I didn't say it earlier, please leave a like and a comment, share with a friend who's also on their trading journey, because I believe a lot of what I talk about and what I'm going through, somebody else who hasn't been trading as long as I have, and I've only been trading live for 4 months, but somebody who's still in their beginning month or week is gonna have a lot of these questions and is gonna go through the same things that I'm going through right now. So that is the reason why I'm documenting this, to show that there is a obvious progression and evolution as a trader. Make sure you leave a comment, follow me on Instagram, because there's a couple things that I have in my mind that I want to bring over to my other social medias like Instagram and TikTok. Follow my TikTok. I'm gonna leave a link in the description as well. Instagram is just going extremely well, so follow me there. That's probably gonna be my main social media outside of YouTube. I think I'm gonna start posting on X a lot more, because there's a very good trading community on X. Honestly, there's a lot of toxic stuff and a lot of liars in terms of just transparency in trading, but I don't really care. If you support me, you support me. So yeah, I'm still trying to develop a game plan when it comes to my content on X. I just don't want it to be just some regular stuff that anybody could post about, but we'll end up seeing how it goes. But let's get straight into this week's outlook. As we can see right here, the trading week started on this candle on the 22nd of Monday. I anticipated this week that we were gonna start going down, since we were inside a buy side imbalance, as you can see right here, and these 2 candles ended up respecting. I anticipated Monday to be a down day, and I took a trade on Monday and I ended up winning that trade. But then on Tuesday, when I came into the market, Tuesday was a very interesting day, because a weekly sell side imbalance started forming from the 2 previous weeks, and I'll bring you into it so you can see. As you can see, there's a weekly sell side imbalance here, which I was anticipating price to come up into and then reject from. But as you can see here, we come up into it, we start rejecting after taking out the high from the previous day on Tuesday, and then we just keep going up. As you can see here, which I didn't catch on until later, this dealing range on the higher time frame, price just went up above the 50% of the fib. I thought it was gonna reach into this daily SIBI, but it just didn't, and then rejected. But we'll just see how next week starts. If next week starts going down, I would like to see it displace. Depending on how Monday's candle closes, will be very valuable information, which I could use for the rest of the week. I haven't seen the economic calendar, so I don't know what the news is looking like as of right now. As you can see, it is fairly bullish, so it does still have a chance of going up into this daily SIBI and maybe closing it out or reaching the consequent encroachment. As you can see, the reason why I say that is these 2 candles right here formed a buy side imbalance, which price came down, touched, and then started rejecting from, and it ended up closing right there. As of now, we'll see what ends up happening, but it could have been that it just came down to fill in that imbalance and then take off, since I still do believe that this daily imbalance will be reached before we ultimately go lower, take out these lows down here. But we'll end up seeing what price action has in store. As of right now, we can't really determine too much. much, let's just get into this week's trades, honestly. All right, so Monday, this is the trade that I had. Monday ended up being the low of the week. I thought Monday we were just gonna end up going lower, and that is exactly what we did because of what happened last week in terms of reaching inside of the daily SIBI that was formed around here. Well, what I thought was gonna happen on Monday was we were gonna end up going lower either way, and price action kind of tipped his hand a bit just because it just kept melting down and never really took out buy side. If it would have took out the buy side of Asia in London and then just kept melting down, it would have made a lot more sense. But this is what ended up happening Monday. I was just extremely patient, and I used the New Year True Open to really call out this trade. This is what ended up happening. We ended up forming this sell side imbalance right here. As you can see, these two candles, and then there was another one up above it. I thought that if we came into this one and left this one open, this was a breakaway fair value gap, so that was confirmation that we were gonna go lower, and it did go a bit lower, but not as far as I thought it was gonna go to the lows of Asia from Thursday. But it did get to some certain spots where I did take profits at. Like I said, I've been trying to take profits at logical levels and not let greed get ahead of me. But we came into this fair value gap, we ended up closing it in, bodies respected it. We came lower, I took profits below this low, and then kept falling. I took profits below this low Friday, and then it reversed. I left the runner hoping that it would reach into take profit, but it never did. It reversed and took me out. Obviously, after I took my second profit, I moved my stop loss. Prices started coming up, so I just closed it out. That was the trade that I took on Monday. Usually I don't trade on Mondays, but I decided to take this trade. It paid out the way it did. I wasn't angry that it took me out because I did take my profits. Let's move on to Tuesday, because Tuesday's trade was actually very good, and it could have been a lot better, but I'm starting to, get more of a hang of what is really going on in terms of just trading in general. I'm developing extremely fast, and the only thing that I could account that to is the amount of time that I've been spending studying and also journaling. Like I said, if you don't journal, you're a bot. Start journaling, and you'll just see that if you keep yourself accountable and you're honest with yourself, you'll become a beast. This is the trade that I ended up taking on Tuesday. This was the best trade that I took last week, and I caught the news on Tuesday. It was a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, but honestly, it could have been a lot better. As you can see right here, this was the low of London, and this was the high of London. As you can see, we took out sell side liquidity, all this sell side right here from this session, from the PM session of Monday as well. So if you take the fib and draw from there up to the high, which took buy side liquidity as well. As you can see, buy side liquidity from here, buy side liquidity from there. At the moment, this was the dealing range that I was paying attention to, and as you can see, around 6:45 we ended up coming down into a discount, and we had the higher time frame objective above it, which was the weekly sell side imbalance. And as we know, higher time frames hold higher power. I would have had a way better trade if I would have waited until price got into this fair value gap, or even this one. So I do believe I did get in a bit early in this trade, but I knew the risk, so I played off of that, and it paid off. But like I said, I could have got in here because we were within a fair value gap, which was in the discount portion of this dealing range, which was good for longs because we had this higher time frame objective up here. Could have got in here, and it would have been an even better trade. Apart from that, once I got into the trade, I believe I got in a little bit too early. I could have waited until we got into this area here, this fair value gap. Even if it didn't touch this bottom fair value gap, it would have still been a better trade than the one I had here. I'm not complaining because I knew what my risk was, and I planned for price to go a bit lower. I didn't want to see it go too far into this fair value gap, especially with news coming at 9:45. But it was extremely interesting because I've noticed that if there's news early in the week, such as Monday or Tuesday, and then there's also high impact news later in the week, such as Thursday, especially on Thursdays, I've noticed that the candle itself on the news earlier in the week ends up being an expansion, and the news embargo later on in the week, such as Thursday, usually is a manipulation candle or a candle that leads to a reversal. So that's something really interesting that I paid attention to and learned this week. Like I said, this was the trade that I took right here. I also noticed that right before there's news, there's always a consolidation, and ends up being the algorithm holding price in a tight range before expansion, because we all know that after a consolidation comes an expansion. I saw this type of price action, and I understood that it was coming down to fill in these two imbalances, but also it did it in such a fashion which it was basically just consolidating the whole time. What I was thinking was taking another position once we got into these two fair value gaps, maybe one here, or even waiting to take the other one down here. I didn't want to play with my risk management. Even if you're confident in how a position can go, you can be extremely confident about what your trading plan is and what you think price action is going to do. It can also reverse on you. So that's why I believe risk management is one of the most important aspects of trading, because I decided I was already risking enough. I knew what my risk loss was, and I already understood that I got in on this trade a bit early and that price could go down into these two fair value gaps lower, and which it did. I could have made double the money that I made on this trade if I would have took another position inside of this fair value gap, but I also understood that I could have lost double. As we know, trading is a double-edged sword. I decided to just play it safe and see what was going to happen after I took this one position, understanding my risk, and ended up playing out. It took me straight to my take profit, no issue, which was above this high and inside of the weekly sell side imbalance. Could have left a runner, but I was content. It was a big trade. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm just let it rock. Let's move on to Wednesday. What I was expecting to happen on Wednesday was, since we were inside of the weekly sell side imbalance, I was expecting price to just go lower. If I could go back into the daily, this is Wednesday. We were already inside of the sell side imbalance, so I was expecting price to just go lower and take out all these lows. So as you can see, we came out of Asia and then just melted down, leaving a 1 hour sell side imbalance, and then just consolidated for the whole morning. Literally the whole morning we were just consolidating. Then we ended up having some expansion higher into the 1 hour sell side imbalance. So what I did was, as soon as we got into the 1 hour sell side imbalance, I took my position, and it ended up reacting very well off of that 1 hour sell side imbalance, and right away came down pretty deep. I thought we were going to end up closing this buy side imbalance on the 15-minute and then going down towards these equal lows, but what ended up happening was price reversed, took me out, and then started coming lower. Once it reversed, it came up about here, and spread ended up taking me out because I had my stop loss above this high right here. So what I did was, since it is part of my trading plans that I am allowed to take 2 trades during the day, and that is max. If I take 1 trade and I lose, I am allowed to go into another trade with half the risk. So that's exactly what I did. I entered this trade with the same plan, and as you can see, once I entered my second position, I believe it just ended up coming down, and I was waiting just for price to come down into this low, and it got pretty close. So I got too confident in it and then just watched it go back up. I honestly should have seen this right here and got out of it with profit, but I got greedy and price just ended up coming back up and taking me out because if I'm not mistaken, I did place my stop loss at break even, so ended up coming up and then taking me out. I wasn't paying attention to DXY, and that's something that I've been journaling a lot about. Any day that I don't pay attention to the dollar index, I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of information, because there was some SMT here with the dollar index, which was confirmation that we were gonna go higher. As you can see, price did go higher, except for Thursday, and Thursday was a fun trade, so I'll talk about Thursday as well. But yeah, there was an opportunity, if I'm not mistaken, on the 5-minute to take that long. You know, not really, nothing that I really could have seen. But if I would have seen it come back down here after this SMT, I honestly probably would have gotten in after this candle closure, so somewhere around here, and had my stop loss below this low just to see what was gonna happen. And then I don't know if I would have held out, because as you can see, this is later on in the afternoon, and I don't keep too many trades on later on in the afternoon. By the way, yeah, it ended up reversing on me, and greed stopped me from getting profit in this trade. As you can see, I'm pretty sure I re-entered this trade right here, so it could have just took me out after it came down here. I'm pretty sure it just ended up coming back up and taking me out because my stop loss was at that same high, and then started coming down. So I'm not even sure if it was, now that I'm remembering, it definitely did happen like this. I'm thinking about another trade from last week, but either way, I need to pay attention to the DXY, because the DXY ended up making a higher low, because Euro USD and the DXY are inversely correlated, which means that since this made a higher low, that DXY should have made a lower high. But what ended up happening was this made a higher low and DXY made a lower high, which should have gave me confirmation, and I should have took profits down there when it did. But I was just not expecting price to keep going higher. Honestly, I thought price was just gonna go lower and head for these lows down here, but yeah, it just ended up going higher. There's no way that I could have, well, there's definitely ways that I could have predicted that, because I'm in a trading group where a lot of people were expecting that to happen, and I didn't get added to that trading group until later on in the week. And it's kind of crazy because that was the first time that I was ever recognized. So shout out to you, Mo. He recognized me off these videos, and he was like, yo, you're a trader. I've been trading for 4 years. And then we started having a conversation about trading. He's also an ICT trader, so it was kind of interesting to me that other people are in my area do trade. I would have never thought he was a trader if he didn't come up to me, which is kind of what trading is, because trading is very lonely. And honestly, what I was looking for was a group of experienced traders which could answer a lot of the questions that I ended up having. Let's just get into the trade on Thursday. The trade on Thursday was basically I took a long. I don't have it marked out, but I took a long on Thursday. If I'm not mistaken, it was took a long about here, and then my stop loss was below here, and my take profit was the low of the daily sell side imbalance up here. But yeah, it would have been a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and I honestly saw price. I was watching it the whole time. I saw price come all the way up. If you trade on MetaTrader, you know how you could go into the spot where you know how you can go to where it just shows the number of what price is actually doing, and I saw the number just start going up, and I saw that I was up on the position, so I was like, okay, maybe I got it right. And then what I've noticed is that if the actual candle you're watching just ends up stopping, like it goes up, this candle just went up, stopped right there for a good like 3 seconds, and then just started going lower and up and lower and up and lower, but it never came up and kept moving this, so it just kept going lower and up and lower and up. And usually when I notice that, I close the position right away, but it came down close to stopping me out and then started going back up again, and I'm like, okay, maybe it was just doing that to manipulate, and then up coming up a bit more once again above these highs, and then just crashed and went a lot lower. What I should have been paying attention to was Thursday reversal. That is exactly what ended up happening. This was all buy side liquidity up here, honestly, if I'm not mistaken. And if I looked on DXY, there was a bunch of other things that would have helped me understand this, but once again, I wasn't paying attention to DXY. I could have took this position up here once it ended up manipulating above it. I could have took it here. I had a person in the group chat who took it about right here, and it was the long, or it was the short, but he had his stop loss about 30 pips above here. He said it almost stopped him out. He sent a screenshot of his execution and everything. But Thursday reversal, could have seen it coming with the expansion on Tuesday, and then price really not going anywhere. It just stayed right here, and then ended up coming back again and just stayed around here the whole time. But yeah, it ended up reversing, and then if I was really on top of it, I could have had this position here, took profits below the target, and then I would have had this high 5-to-1 easy. There is more where I could have left the runner down to this target, and it would have hit it, and it almost hit this spot, which it probably did if I'm not mistaken, which was his target. What is the low of this candle? The low of this candle is 67.80. What's the low of this candle? No, 67.82. So it didn't take out that low, but would have gotten out either way. But I was wrong on Thursday, and that is my fault because I understood Thursday was gonna be a reversal. I just believe that for some reason I got it in my head that it was gonna go all the way up here and then maybe reverse on Thursday, or on Friday. But Friday did have a reverse, just not the way I thought it would. There was also news today, Friday. I didn't trade on Friday. I just decided to wake up and watch price. I watched price for a bit. I was so tired that I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to sleep. I'm not even gonna try to put on a trade when I'm this tired and I'm not in the right mindset to even trade. And that's what I really do think. I think if you don't get enough rest one night and you think you're gonna be in the right headspace to trade the next day, you're completely wrong in my opinion. But this is what ended up happening on Friday. We took out buy side liquidity in from Asia in London. It started coming down, and there was actually a 1 hour, if I'm not mistaken, 1 hour, let me see if I could find it. There was a 1 hour, this order block right here was basically what price was waiting for, and we ended up respecting it as well. This 1 hour order block then just took off, which meant that if this went up, that Euro USD was gonna go down, and that is exactly what happened. If I would have just waited a bit, you can see right here, order block, respected the order block, and then just went lower. If you pay attention right here as well, as you can see here as well, after the news, you can tell that price was respecting the south side imbalance. The trade for today, Friday, would have been take the short right here on the second candle after news and targeted these lows down here with a stop loss. I would have had it honestly above the candle that created the fair value gap, but I don't think I would have had it all the way up here, but it would have been a 6-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Yeah, it's just very interesting to me how I started noticing what I talked about with the early in the week news and the later in the week news, especially on Thursdays. Time and price is extremely important when it comes to trading, and I know that it is even more important once you get into futures. So that's what I've been studying. On top of that, I've been studying a lot the market maker models, because all this market is just fractal market maker models. So I've been trying to study that as well. We'll see what this new trading week has in store. I'm trying to be a lot more disciplined when it comes to what days I trade, what I see in a trade, what I should stay away from in a trade. I think that a lot of us are focused on what we should see to get into a trade, but we don't know what we should see to stay out of a trade. That just comes with experience. It was a good trading week overall. This is all experience, and for the most part, we've been just consolidating right here and then just started coming up now. We'll see how next week goes. I still think that the sell side imbalance is something that is a point of interest that that we just had to see what price does. We did come back into this buy side imbalance on the dollar, and then we have these relatively equal highs over here, along with the volume imbalance that is all the way up here, which means that if we go all the way up there is downside for Euro USD, which is what I've been waiting for. All these lows down here, especially this low from the previous week low up to the previous month low down here with this line. Thank you so much again for watching this video. If you stayed this far, let me know in the comments how your trading journey is going. Thank you so much for the support, not only on the YouTube channel but on Instagram as well. This is only the start. I am going to master trading, and I know there's those of you who've been trading ICT for longer than I have and have a lot more experience than I do know that there's something to the algorithm which I haven't figured out yet, but it's starting to click. I believe that all I really need is more time, and we'll just see how that ends up going. Let's see how that is played, or how that plays into the videos in the future. Either way, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and don't give up. I know you feel like giving up when stuff is just not going your way, but like I always say, submit to time. Don't worry about getting this quick. I know a lot of us get caught up on that. I want to make this money quick, but if you submit to time, put your head down and just keep grinding and grinding. Even when you don't feel like doing it, just keep doing it. Keep grinding and grinding. Eventually it will click. That is what I find out about trading, other than me just being hard-headed, and I just don't like to quit things when I start. And once again, your why plays a big role into that. This is a literal money glitch once you really understand it, and I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be fast, but submit to time, put your head down, and just see where it takes you. Have a long-term point of view with this. I see myself in 10 years as being exactly where I want to be in life, because I stuck through all the ups and downs of trading. But we'll see where it ends up going. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.